everybody, and welcome back to the Empire Let's Play series. Today I've got a couple of things I want to accomplish. I had mentioned at the end of the last episode that I wanted to write down a bunch of our future projects. I want to kind of create a project list. I'm going to start today, though, by grabbing a couple of these horses and also showing you a little bit of a freaky thing. My mods have mostly been updated, but yeah, look at this one. This is not right. That's not right at all. So let's see if we can get a couple of these horses over to the stable, and then I'll talk a little bit more about our project. All right, there's one horse. Let's see if we can get one more. All right, that went pretty quick. Grab a lead. Grab this other horse. There we go. And let's head over to the stable. I feel like this horse is really, really fast. I was just noticing that the bridle is, or the reins rather, are out of phase with the head. So when the horse is walking, they move opposite. That's funny. Oh well, hopefully they fix the texture pack soon. Okay, 2 more horses in the pen. Wow. I got an achievement inadvertently. A complete catalog. I think I've got one of every cat now. I wasn't recording because I really didn't think much of it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, let's check that out. Oh, there we are. Tame all cat variants. 11 of 11. Huh, I've never gotten this achievement before. That's just wild. I've got some white terracotta. I've got a lectern. I got some doors. I've got paper, a bed, some gravel. Not sure exactly what this building is going to look like, but I kind of want to make it look different than anything we've done so far. So let's have our cat friend follow us, and we're going to head this way. Right up here is the tunnel. It goes off to the map library and all that. There's the bridge that leads off to the Southland. I'm thinking maybe we'll build something in this little pocket of space right here. So I kind of want this build to be mountainous, but not at the top of the mountain. I think just up here in the foothills will be nice. And then we can have like a little staircase leading down to our trail. Let's see, what is this back here? Oh, there's just a little crack in the earth. That's interesting. See if there's anything else interesting. Oh, yeah, here's a situation. Okay, that doesn't go anywhere. That's okay. Well, I think I want this building to be maybe about 15-ish blocks wide. Kind of want it to be a plus shape. So a central area with a couple of outcroppings. So I'm just going to try and lay something out here and see what I think. There we have our nice new building. We walk up some steps, go inside, and like I was saying, it's sort of a plus shape. I used some gravel and cobble on the floor, and then just some oak and this white terracotta that we got from tearing down one of the villages. On the ceiling, I did a little bit of andesite and cobble, and then left a poke hole in the ceiling so that we could see the smoke from the chimney from far away. We've got some materials over here, got a lectern and a bed. And here we're going to put a book. And I think I brought everything I need. Yes, to make a book we can write in. One of those, one of those, one of those. Book and quill. And so in this book, we're going to put all of our projects. So one we've been talking about is horse stable. Another one is I think we're going to want to dig a desert mine, just so we can build roads over in the desert. We're definitely going to have to build a jungle bridge to get over to the desert. I was talking about a central storage facility. We'll end up building a western portal over in the desert. We'll probably want to connect the portals in the nether. Over by our original portal, we're going to have that hilltop village. Eventually, once we get to the desert, we will improve the desert village. We still need to tackle that woodland mansion. We still need to finish up the lagoon down in the swamp. I'd kind of like to get some nice armor. Right now, we are still rocking some pretty lousy armor. Let's go ahead and turn the page here. There's also a bunch of farms I'd like to do. So I'd like to do a creeper farm so we can get gunpowder. I'd like to utilize some of the new splash potions that they came out with and perhaps make an XP farm. I've never built a raid farm. That might be a cool thing to do. And then I'm going to turn the page for things that we could potentially do during live streams. So, work on the road. That's a good one. Landscape along the road. I'd like to expose more maps. Let's see, let's go back to the first page here. I'd like to get some beacons. And I think the last thing I'll put on here is the road to the swamp. So I'm just going to leave this book here so that we can come back and revisit it, and we can kind of flip through the pages, mark things off. I'm not sure what order we're going to do things in. If you have a preference or if one of these looks especially interesting, leave me a comment. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to run back over to the jungle, and I want to show you some of the work I've done on the tunnel. Last episode, we started digging a tunnel that went from the jungle out towards the desert. In between episodes, I did just a little bit of cleaning up and kind of poking around to see what we're going to do next, because it's not exactly crystal clear. And once we get over there, you'll see what I mean. So, last episode, we took this path up and around and all the way down here. And you can see up ahead there that I went ahead and kind of kicked out the end of it. Wow, there's a lot of mobs over there. We still need to put the roadway in here. We still need to decorate and clean some of this up. So quite a lot to do yet. And then once we get here, it kind of pokes out into the jungle. And we have a little bit of a cliff here, a little bit of a drop off. And then from here, we need to get over there. And it's a pretty big crossing. So there's a couple things we could do. One is we could take this road kind of down through here and then build a bridge. It would be kind of a low bridge, and it would be a long bridge, which is not all bad. So, if we were about 5 blocks above the water, it would come out all the way over to there, which is a pretty big span. So I don't know that it would be a very exciting bridge, but that's one option. The other option is we could potentially take a road down here and we could build a dock and then we could just boat across. So that, I think, would kind of preserve our nice waterway. It would kind of break the road situation, though. You know, we would have to take a boat across the river to get to the next section, which, you know, there's no rules. We can kind of do whatever we want. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think would be the best course of action. Should we build a low bridge across the waterway, or should we build a dock and make a boat situation? Once we get over to the desert, I think there's a lot more to explore over there. There are probably multiple villages. There's probably some desert temples, you know, things like that. So it'll be a different kind of experience over there. I think what I want to spend my time on today for the last portion of the episode is get to work on our stable. We've got all of those horses, and they're all just kind of crammed in that little pen. We don't have to finish it today, but it'd be a cool thing to get a start on our stable project. I think all the roadway and stuff like that, I'm going to do that on live streams. I'm usually live streaming 2 p.m. Pacific time on Saturdays. So if you got some free time and you're available, join me for those and we'll get some road work done. And you know, actually, before we head back over to the stable, let's go check on our jungle village. We still need to finish up the road over here as well. And I started digging through this little stone bit here to kind of connect those waterways. Haven't finished that yet. All right, how are we doing over here? Got one there, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 villagers. 8. Yeah, we got 10 workstations, 7 villagers, so we need a couple more villagers. Well, it seems as though I just needed to hang out over here long enough to let them keep figuring out how many beds are left and to start making more villagers. So, yeah, I've got a couple more on the way. So let's go get some projects done, and then we'll come back and visit these guys. We still need to do a lot of trading with all of these folks and see if they have anything good to give us. There's still a couple more horses up there. I wonder if we should try and bring them back with us. Take my lead like that. Yeah, that'll work. Over on my Discord, I did a poll, and I asked everybody what you thought of the Empire Let's Play series. And I was curious if you were enjoying it, or if you preferred my old series, or if you kind of wanted to see something different. You know, the Empire Let's Play series is quite different than what we were doing before. The previous world was very, very large, had a lot of big builds, and a lot more redstone farms, things like that. This world is much smaller scale and a lot more early game stuff. And it's a different way of playing, you know? It's all about the villagers and connecting the villages and that kind of thing. So it's a different game. And I was just curious if you're enjoying it, or is there something that you miss from the old series? Is there something you want to see more of? There's a lot of things I like to do. You know, I do like to do redstone builds. I do like to do farms. But, you know, I'm also working on discovering and connecting these villages. But, you know, we can mix it up. If we want to focus on farms for a little bit, or you want to see more of the how-to, you want to work on some redstone, we can do that. So yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you like, what you are interested in, what you want to see more of. And do my best to kind of fit that into the episodes. Spruce, I've got it. So we had a spruce tree over here that I cut down, and then we've got that other spruce tree. So I think we're doing okay on materials. As far as stables, I think I want to do a bunch of individual stables and then kind of a general area for horses to kind of wander free. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how big this building is. I think it'll probably be about 20, 25 blocks long, and then probably, 12 or 15 blocks wide. So, yeah, maybe we'll fit the stable back along this side here, kind of facing in that direction. I think what I'm going to do first is chop down this tree and then just start kind of plotting things out and then see how far we get. Well, another action-packed building session. I got attacked by a bunch of pillagers again. It's so weird. I feel like we haven't seen them forever, and then we see them twice in this episode. This is something I used to do all the time, where you would put slabs on the bottom of the block and slabs on the top of the block, and a horse could fit through here, but their pathfinding would see this as only 2 blocks, and so they wouldn't try to get out on their own. Doesn't seem to work anymore. The horses just wander right back out. So I think I'll just go back to good old fence gates for keeping them contained. Not sure when they changed this up. It used to be something that was in the game for the longest time, but they must have updated their pathfinding. So we've got 6 individual stables here. And I think what we'll do is we'll have a little bit of space and then a bunch of stables on this side kind of mirroring this. And then probably right in the middle somewhere, we'll have an entryway to get into the whole stable situation. I think somewhere on one of these ends, I'm going to build just a little area for us to have a bed, some chests, things like that, so that we can just kind of hole up if we need to. And then in front of all the stables, we'll have just a big pen where we can have horses just kind of wandering around. Once we get the mirror image of these stables, then we can figure out what the roof is going to look like. I don't want it to just be a flat roof. I want it to be a little bit pitched, but I just don't know what it's going to look like until I get the rest of the building in here. I've been doing a mix of oak and spruce just to give it a little bit of contrast. I think the really dark spruce looks good with the lighter oak, and then the spruce fences tie in really nice as an accent. So I think it looks pretty cool. And then I grabbed some of the podzol from over here just to make the stables look a little bit rough and lived in. We might do some coarse dirt and that kind of thing, so it just looks like the ground is chewed up by their hooves and not just grass. I think next episode we'll see if we can finish up this stable project, and then depending on your comments, I'll see what kind of projects you're interested in seeing next. And we'll just start working our way through that book of projects, and I'll probably add a couple more by next week as well. And that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, scan the code on the screen or click join down below. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.